So again, I tried to get them to think about what a controlled experiment was, and I stressed the point that it has to be one variable that's being changed. So I gave them an example of 3 liquids at 3 different temperatures. So one was ice cold Coke, another was room temperature water, and another one was hot water. And I asked them if this was a controlled experiment. And everyone said yes, because it's 3 different liquids at 3 different temperatures. But I actually told them no, it's not a controlled experiment because one of those liquids happens to be Coke. I think they were able to grasp it a little more in that context, and then I asked them, how could we change this experiment to make it controlled? One student said, if you change all the liquids to water, then you only have one variable. So I asked, what's another way that we could change this into a controlled experiment? Another student answered, if you change all of them to Coke, then it's a controlled experiment. So next we actually did that experiment. There was 3 different cups of water. One was ice cold, the other was at room temperature, and another was hot water. And so I asked the students to go around to each different group and measure the temperature until it equilibrated. But no one understood what equilibrated meant, so I explained it was when you measure something with a thermometer, it's going to take a while to actually reach the temperature of that object. And so you want to wait until the temperature is steady, because that means the thermometer is at the temperature of the object, and then you now have the accurate reading of whatever you're measuring. So I think the students were able to grasp that, and so they went around and they measured the ice water, the room temperature water, and the hot water until the temperature equilibrated. And then we came back and we talked about the differences in the graph and tried to figure out what the end temperature was of each object. Some key learning moments. One student actually knocked over her cup of ice water, and then she stuck the thermometer back in the cup of ice water, and so when we looked at the graph, you could see that the temperature was decreasing, and then there was like a brief spike in the temperature, and then it decreased some more. And so it provided us with an opportunity to ask, all right, so let's look at the data and figure out exactly what happened in the whole entire course of the measurement. So I was able to ask, well, what happened when the temperature spiked again? Oh, I think that was when I knocked it over and my temperature probe was in the air. All right, so why did it end up decreasing again? Well, I put the thermometer back into the little bit of water that I didn't knock over. It was really good to see them actually be able to explain what they saw, explain the results that they were getting, which is part of the process of science inquiry.